You are listening to the Hodges Huddle, where we discuss all things in the wide world of sports. Here's your KLSU sports team.
Welcome into the Hodges Huddle. I am your host, Michael Poggi, and today I am joined by the OGs, the fellas, Andre Champon, sports producer, Jaden Smith. Fellas, how we doing today? How we doing?
You know what? I was putting it off, but I think Tuesdays are going to have to move over, and from now on, it's Calm Little Monday.
Yeah,
today,
it's back, man. It's back.
Today has been a
Come
calm
Trademark
on.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Trademark it.
put
This
it in
is
the
breaking
rafters.
news. Just letting y'all know. Magical Mondays are gone.
No more magical
No.
Mondays. No more mysterious mundane Mondays. It just
Mystery Mondays.
That's a
mystery
bummer,
Mondays.
man.
Today was a mystery Monday.
It was.
No
It's-
power
it's-
for about 20 minutes on
yeah,
campus.
Dark outside.
Yeah, crazy.
It didn't hit like calm little,
What about
calm
you? How
little
was your
Tuesdays.
weekend? Good weekend?
It's calm.
Calm weekend.
No
Calm
pun
weekend.
intended.
Yeah. I'm feeling this midterms coming up, feeling a little bit sketchy. I don't know.
Yeah,
dude.
dude.
It's
I agree.
I just went to Nashville. I've got to lock in. I got to
Yeah.
had my little vacay. Now I'm ready to rock. But we have a lot to discuss today. Starting off with some LSU baseball, as the Fighting Tigers are 6-1 after their recent series against Omaha. Going 2-1 in the weekend series. Starting off with Friday's game, the Tigers they won 4-2. Cade Anderson went 5.1 innings, striking out 8 batters on 3 hits, allowing 2 runs and walking 2 as well. Pretty solid second start from the sophomore. What have you thought about Anderson's recent performances? His 2 starts. This was his longest start or his longest outing in his career. So what have you thought about this young kid?
I thought he's been great, man. I mean, I don't see anything yet to complain about, as I shouldn't, which with the level of competition
Right.
that they've been playing this far. But he's showing me everything that I can expect out of him and that I asked for and everything that I would like to see.
Out of a number 1,
Yeah.
out of an ace.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, like I said, he's doing what he's supposed to do, making light work of, every batter that's stepping in front
Right.
of him at this point. But long season to go, and I think within this next week or so, we're going to get to see really what we dealing with here.
Right.
Yeah, like Anderson's been really solid. Like I agree with Jay. I think last weekend also gave him a little bit of early experience with runners on base. So just for him to be able to kind of work around that, even though he gave up a few runs, I think that's kind of still like a blessing in disguise.
100%.
Especially when you go into next weekend, right? You have some quality baseball teams that you have to face. You got to face Kansas State, ranked Nebraska team.
Really,
So
Kansas State's really good.
yeah, I agree. And so I think he's still your best arm for the starters, and I expect him to get way more comfortable as the season progresses. Like you're going to see more pitchers get comfortable as they get the pitch count up, right?
Yeah.
As you get more repetition. But I thought he was impressive.
yeah, he's been everything in what I think, everything that you want out of your Friday guy.
Yeah.
As what you've only played 2 games, but from a guy who wasn't really a big key starter for you last year, for him to come in and be that Friday guy, it's really I hope to see him continue to stay there. But going towards the bullpen, let's move and talk about Kason Evans, who has been incredible in his recent outings coming out of the bullpen. We haven't seen guys like Gavin Guidry as much, hoping to see more of him. He probably should play tonight, play in 7 minutes. But, what have you thought about the bullpen? What are your early opinions? As a bullpen, honestly, has been one of the weaker spots in LSU baseball in recent years. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think they've also been good as well. That's one of the things Andre and Will were big on. We didn't even introduce Will, man.
Oh,
Shame
man.
on us. I didn't realize.
Shame
that.
on.
Yeah. Well,
But,
my
yeah.
bad, big dog. That's on me.
You got to turn the mic on, man. Oh, is it? I think so. Did you?
Yeah, but did
it's
you do
red?
it on the
Is
thing?
is it on top?
Oh, yeah, it's on. I see
Yeah.
it. I see it right there.
Okay.
Shout out Will, man. But yeah, Will and Andre was like speaking more so to the depth that they think this team has and why they think just as a
Right.
a total roster, they may be in a better spot even than that 23 team was. And that's saying something because that's some of the greatest collection of talent we've seen on a college roster ever. So I think they're in a great spot, and I think they have depth at a variety of positions. Like, I got to see Anthony Ianson, I think it was Saturday, and I got to see him
he was
put on
solid.
a really good outing. And it caught me by surprise because LSU baseball, they put out the tweet of, like, the starting lineup, and it said clear as day Cade Anderson. And I had to go, like, delete my tweet because I look out there and I'm like, wait a minute, that's not Cade Anderson. That's, Anthony Ianson.
For the double
Starting pitcher, yeah.
Yeah.
But, I'm seeing everything that I would like to see at this point, and we'll just see if they can continue with that once they start playing some of these better teams out there.
Yeah, and you kind of mentioned Case and Evans, but I think just the bullpen entirely, they've been solid. Besides a few instances, you've thrown strikes for the most part. And so you look at, just a couple of the walks, and that's really what gave Omaha their runs was the walks. And then, it's one thing that you can control is the walks, right? Like, it's one thing to walk guys and know that you can fix those types of things, and then it's another for your pitchers to get teed off, right?
Right.
Like, you definitely rather the walks rather than them getting teed off, in my opinion, because it's something that can be fixed. Now, walks are still deadly, right?
Yes.
But LSU has limited them. But like you said, guys, they've been pressed, like Case and Evans.
Right.
And I think Cooper Williams, the lefty,
And
Maverick
Rizzi looks great too.
super good.
Yes.
Zach Cohen.
Yes.
Like just a bunch of guys. Like Jay said, there's so much, not only depth, there's versatility in this bullpen.
And like y'all are saying, man, like that's what I think this team could really, really have that brings them over the hump over a lot of teams is that depth in that bullpen spot.
Yeah.
But moving to game 2 and game 3, where the Tigers lost game 2, which was the first of the doubleheader, losing 5-4, almost coming back in the last inning. What went wrong in this game here for Jay Johnson and the Tigers?
Man,
You were there.
I was there
He was
live in the
pissed, huh?
flesh.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was the word, but even me, like, I'm not even a baseball guy, but it even had me like, come on, man, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like,
No hit through the 7th inning.
just sloppy play, and they locked in too late. It's really just that simple. I mean, I think there were 2 instances where they had bases loaded, and they didn't do anything with it.
Yep.
Like nothing at all.
And that's been a problem
Yeah.
for the last few years.
Yeah.
Is leaving guys on base.
Yeah.
But, sorry.
Yeah, and then even further than that, I mean, we couldn't take advantage of the atrocious pitching that Omaha was putting out. I mean, like, just a weird stat line. I mean, bro technically pitched a no-hitter, and I think he had like 6 or 7 walks. Like that. That's how we got the loaded bases.
That's
like
exactly
that's ridiculous. I mean, you have to show inferior teams why they're inferior.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think the decision to not let Ianson go another inning came back to haunt Jay
yes.
Johnson.
Yes,
sure.
the bullpen just
He had 91 pitches. He was ecstatic, man. That the last inning that he threw in the 6th, I mean, they looked like chopping wood. They were chopping wood at that point. And also, I think going Grant Fontenot out of the pen first was a little bit questionable. I don't think he's a Saturday relief guy, and if he is, I think he's one to close the game out if you're in a comfortable position. So I kind of see him more as a Sunday relief guy. Also we talked about, right, like the batting was really what killed LSU. It really wasn't even like you can win a game, and you're supposed to with that lineup 5 or 6 runs a game. You left bases loaded twice, like Jay said, twice I think with no outs, which is insane.
Yeah,
lazy
man.
fly balls, get the ball on the ground, and take better at bats. And honestly, it's early, so you're going to see that out of this team. Obviously, I was mad. Just because you don't want to see a team, you don't want to see that kind of approach this early in the season.
Yeah. It's okay, though. A&M lost.
It
So we're
is
good.
okay.
Nobody moved.
And
We're
you
still-
and
we're
you
still
actually
in a-
moved up in the polls this week.
we're number 2.
Yep.
So we're
I'll
where
take
we
it.
want to be.
Yeah, I mean it's going to happen. Losses are a part of baseball.
And that's the thing is there's so many games in this season where
Right.
it's like as long as we're winning series and winning most of the games that we need to win,
Yeah,
everything's going to be smooth.
Yeah.
But while the hitting still being a struggle in this game and really just the bullpen not helping out Anson's performance, who do you think could have maybe gotten a nod to change this game up? Like, who would you rather have seen instead of Fontenot come out into that pen? What would you rather have wanted?
I said Cooper Williams, and I mean, he went in still, but it was too little too late at that point. So a lefty, like you always want to see a righty. If you see a righty all game, the one thing that a team does not want to see is a good lefty, because you already can't hit righty, and then left-handed pitchers are just already hard enough to hit off of, right? But that's what gives you an advantage. And you would have thought that Jay would have kind of saw that, especially in a close game like that. It's a 0-0 game. You know, he puts Grant Fontenot in, which is not bad, but as soon as he hits that first guy, you've got to kind of think, hey, are we winning the test things out here, or do we want to win this game, right? At the end of the day. And I think he's still searching no matter what. His guys are going to be his guys at the end of the day. But that's probably where I would have gone. I would have gone Cooper Williams. If you wanted Grant Fontenot to close the game out, don't let him go in a point where you need 9 outs in a game.
Yeah.
You know he can get you probably 3 to 6.
See,
you don't want to put him in the 7th.
Yeah, I wish we could have seen Guidry, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think and I don't know if you want to. I don't know what Jay Johnson really wants to use him as this year.
Yeah.
I don't really know where he wants to throw him. But I think, in my opinion, you got to give him pitches and you got to give him reps early. And I think now is a perfect time against those teams like Purdue, Fort Wayne, Omaha, whatever.
Well, he said that that's not his role right now.
Right.
Is like weekends, and you actually he's not pitching tonight. I don't think. I think his role is going to be that Wednesday.
He's
for
not
now.
pitching tonight?
It's Schmidt right now that's going to start. William
Well,
Schmidt. But he might pitch tonight. But
do they want? That's
I
what
think
I'm saying.
they kind of
want him to
expect.
start? Do they? Want
I think
him
they
to
want
be
him to build up innings before they can trust him to be that relief guy, like the one guy out of the pen.
Yeah.
As far as go a lot of innings, they want Gavin Gidger to give them a lot of innings, and that's what he's asking for. It's probably a big reason why he came back. But it's kind of weird. I agree with you. It's a weird situation.
It's a weird situation because he's your number 8. He's your guy. Like he's somebody who's been here for a couple of years and he's ready to roll. And so it's that situation where it's like,
I mean, maybe it's one of those circumstances where there's just something we don't know. Like,
we're not in the dugout, so we don't. We don't get to hear everything. We don't know all. But so the hitting obviously a struggle in the first 2 games, but they did figure it out, and they figured it out pretty quickly in game 2. In game 3, winning 12-1, great game from Chase Shores right out the gate, and Jared Jones, obviously driving in 5 runs, being electric, that guy that you need out of Jared Jones, veteran. Who else stood out to you in game 3, really giving this Tiger team a much-needed blowout win in their setback loss?
Jay's looking at me like laughing, so I'll go. I said Monster Milam. He went into that game batting 190.
Yes, had a
so
struggle.
if anybody absolutely needed that game, it was him, and he responded, man. Because at that point he's probably thinking like, man, it's a slump. It's that beginning the season slump, but he didn't let it kind of get to him. Right, he went 3 for 3. I think he had a few RBIs. But he's the guy that needs to get hot with the bat in the lineup because we talked about this game that Jay was at, the 5-4 game that they lost. Lead bases loaded twice. I think Monster didn't do his job twice with bases loaded. So it's just you have a lot of guys in the lineup that weren't producing with runners on base that are returners, right? It was Jared Jones that he did that towards the end of the game. But he flew out in those first few innings. Yeah. It's little stuff that adds up, man.
Yeah.
So you want to see your leaders be able to kind of set the example instead of a guy like Curiel who's been the guy. Right?
Unbelievable, by the way. He's unbelievable.
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jared Jones more so because I got to see the way he finished that second game. I think when the score got to like 5-4, I saw him. First of all, I didn't even realize he was like playing like up until that. Like I knew he was there, but it was just like, oh, like where have you been? Like one of those types of things. So, but the way he approached the bat at that point, like okay, I'm in this game right here. I think you can see clear as day the type
they
of
were-
energy he brought into that next match.
They were definitely scared
Yeah.
to pitch to
Oh,
him.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
And so I admire him as well. Just because like he was so unbelievable last year and so great for you as a freshman, and then he comes in this year and he starts off slow, and that's okay as long as you kind of get back in that groove, batting in the 7-8 hole, like you said, batting 180, 190. Getting back into that groove. So that was really big for Monster, really big for the Tigers. Man, where is the limit for this team after watching 2 weekends of baseball? It's super early. We haven't seen a whole lot. But based off of what we've gotten to watch, what are your initial thoughts on this squad? And also, would you make any changes
Yeah,
to the
I would.
to the batting lineup? And
We can start with the changes
Yeah,
if you want.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any?
I don't got no changes. I know like
So, yeah,
a fraction about baseball, so I'm not in any position to be suggesting any lineup changes or
Yeah.
anything
Hey,
like that.
and sometimes the best change is no change.
Right, exactly.
Right.
But as far as what was great, like expectations and things like that, I think this is a team that should go to Omaha. I mean, I'm gonna keep saying it like that's it's one of those programs where that's what they're playing for.
Yep.
And anything less is pretty much just unacceptable.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. I have a few changes, and
Yeah.
not really changes, but just
Well, let's-
some things that you need to keep in your lineup.
Let's
more
talk
so.
about it.
I said find a place for Stanfield in the lineup at all times. I think
yeah.
Stanfield's he's been the most consistent, and you can't. He didn't play game 2, and when you needed a spark, you didn't get it. And Chris Stanfield has been that guy to give you a spark at that leadoff position, most of the games. So I'd say that Luis Hernandez is definitely your catcher moving forward.
He is unbelievable.
Right.
He really is.
Yeah.
It's and I'm just going to add on to that.
Defensively.
Defensively, he's great, and he's
Yeah.
he's going to be your nine hole guy. He's
Yes, I
but
agree.
and that's fine.
But he's a
because-
power guy, so
but-
it
but
doesn't matter.
He can
Yeah.
hit home runs too.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like he is so good behind the plate, and that's what LSU needed, another good catcher after losing Brady Neal.
And I said you're definitely keeping Curiel as a starter
Right.
most of the season. Jake Brown should probably be a starter for most of the season. I think it's going to be finding that DH. That's going to be what changes every single game.
So where do you don't think it should be?
I don't think Pearson should be in the outfield, man. I just think his bat's too inconsistent.
Yeah, I think my only change would, and it's not even a change, I think it would just be maybe test out the waters, would be throwing Larson back
Yeah, I
into
like
that
Larson.
outfield.
I
Because
like that.
there's been multiple times where he's come in as a pinch hit or whatever in situations, and then this was against Purdue Fort Wayne, and then he comes in the next game and he's a starter,
Yeah.
and he has good at bats, and he's got bases loaded, and he's driving runs in, and he's not leaving guys on base, and I think that's at the end of the day that's really the most important thing is what are you going to do in
Yeah.
this situation when it comes to you,
Right.
Because he hasn't really had a whole lot of reps.
I would have
But-
said him, but he kind of showed a few poor at bats this weekend. I think they had bases loaded. He struck out on 3 pitches. That's not what you want to see.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't I like that pick.
I just think
Yeah.
I like what I've seen out of him
Yeah.
last year.
His
and then
upside is-
his upside is incredible, and so I think it's like with Jake Brown and with Ashton Larson, it could be Ashton Larson being that DH. It could
Yeah,
be it
yeah,
could,
for sure.
it-
And add another lefty
exactly,
with it. Yeah.
and could be something like that. Like it's just that the thing is you have so many guys
Mm-hmm.
and you have 8 outfielders. Like you can add changes whenever you really want, especially at this part of the season.
Yeah.
So
It's a
I,
blessing.
what Andre? What,
Oh yeah, I
what-
said Omaha.
Yeah,
too.
Omaha.
Five letters, Omaha.
yeah. I mean,
And honestly, I think I might be jinxing them already, but I think the Omaha that came to town is going to be the Omaha you struggle with most this season.
Okay.
If they get to Omaha, I think they're going to be fine.
Okay.
I really, really
Want to
hope,
believe that.
Yeah, that happens. I think so too, man. I've said this from honestly the get go. I think this team is more talented, like as a group,
Yep.
than the team that won the national championship, and that's saying a lot because that team, with just, I think that team obviously the players. You go Paul Skeens, you go.
It has so much star
Cruz.
power, man.
Yeah, there's just so many stars.
Yeah.
But I think here you've got so many, like, you have your stars, but then you also have your, like, you
have your
young
Gavin
guns.
Guidrys,
You have
yeah,
your
you
gun
have your-
guns. You have your Guidrys. You have your vets. You have
Yeah.
everything.
I mean, not Gavin Guidry. You have your Gavin Dugoses.
yeah.
Like your small row players, right?
Exactly.
Your Malazzos.
You have a bunch of things, and you've still got veterans who you've got a guy like Pearson
Right.
who won a national championship, and so it's like you still have that winning like
Pedigree.
yes.
Okay.
Here,
So
That
you-
experience.
in the
So
locker
you
room.
think they're more, I don't know, San Antonio Spurs than Golden State Warriors?
yeah,
basically.
yeah. I wouldn't.
Yeah, they're rounded.
yes.
they're
they're-
rounded.
I wouldn't say it's like a
Celtics were rounded too. if
What,
you
last
wanna-
year?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But this team's going to be fun. It's not
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's going to be a fun team to watch come SEC
Mm-hmm.
play. But now, let's talk some real ball. Let's talk some hoops.
Okay.
Let's go straight in to the Wembanyama injury.
Wembanyama.
Yama.
Yeah.
My bad. I'm losing my mind today, fellas.
It's okay.
Wembanyama. Blood clot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
out for
that's
the
weird,
year.
man.
What does that do for the Spurs? They've got
Well,
picks coming up.
apparently.
I think if you're the, I think this season is on ice
Anyway.
at this point. Maybe you want to try to make a play-in push. I mean, they did trade for De'Aaron Fox.
They were cooked anyway, though.
But no, I don't think they were cooked. I think they would have made the play-in, I believe. But honestly, I think you just put this season on ice and really just try to re-up come this year's drafts. I mean, I'm seeing mock drafts with Cooper Flag
Bro.
going to San Antonio.
And not only him,
Oh, and by the way, the last
Harper.
time,
Garrett
the la-
Harper.
one of the last times the Spurs got the number one pick, or the year that they drafted Tim Duncan with the number one pick, the prior year David Robinson gets hurt. So people are like connecting,
Speculating.
People are connecting the dots and stuff like
Dude,
that.
if they
Like,
if Silver allows for them to get the one pick,
just Silver,
just Silver. No, yeah, or like any other organization that's like, hey, you guys want our pick?
yeah,
I would
Right.
probably boycott the NBA at that point. But like for Wemby himself, I think it's sad because when you see this highly touted guy, like a star, so young, right?
Yeah.
Get hurt like that. And like, let's talk about like the NBA is already a bad product right now.
Right.
And they watch it for the stars. That's true. Like I'm not watching
Yes.
the Pelicans because I want to watch a Pelicans
Well,
game anymore.
And that's
It is because the Pelicans suck, but that's a bad example. If I want to watch an NBA game, I'm going to watch because I wanted to see LeBron and Luka, right?
Right.
Like,
well,
but-
and this is kind of a little bit off topic, not really, but like I was watching SportsCenter and or First Take or something, and PK Subban, he's a hockey player. He comes onto the
oh that guy, yeah,
he comes onto the television,
Yeah.
and
The
he
Caps?
starts talking, and he's like, he's saying, the difference between the NBA and the NHL and stuff like that, because they play the same amount of games, is when you go out there and it's small market with the NHL and they're paying guys however much money, whatever it is. You're gonna go as a fan. You're gonna go buy a ticket for $1,500, whatever, however much it costs, like a good seat, $1,500. Like that's probably the average, like good, like lower bowl glass seat. Like you could get good seats for like 200, 8 or like below that, depending on the game, obviously. But their prices are a lot more expensive. And the reason being is because when you buy a ticket to go to the game, you know what you're going to get. You're getting all these guys every single time. And watch the NHL. I'm telling you, every single time they go out onto the ice, it's the same intensity as an NBA playoff game. Like, it's the same thing. It's defense back and forth. It's blue line to blue line. It's checking guys left and right. It's all that stuff that you want in a sports event. And so I think in the NBA is what you're saying is like being a bad product. It's when you lose those stars and you lose guys due to injuries and stuff like that, it ruins a lot of things because the NBA they don't play as hard as other professional sports do during the regular season.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the things he said, because I know the clip you're talking about, he says just because hockey is one of those sports where you can't take a possession off. You don't get to just chill on defense.
Yeah,
Basketball,
you get hit.
Basketball, you can take 2 or 3 possessions off and, not get subbed out for it and things like that. But I think that's a whole other conversation. But, I mean, back to the Wemby thing, it just definitely sucks because he was on his way to having an all-NBA season, a first-team all-NBA selection, and he was going to be the Defensive Player of the Year this year.
Yeah, and not only that, he would, unlike many of the other stars in the league, he's playing through a little tiny injury. Like, he tried to play every game. And I respect the hell out of that from players because you have Kawhis and
that's
you
what
have
I'm saying.
just so
That's
many
what you
players.
want.
That's what I'm saying. You have all these players that will sit out another game. I mean, we can even take Zion for an example. Like, and that's not really his fault, but
hey, he's still one of the quickest to.
Yeah, but I'm saying you'll get a few games out of him.
Yeah.
Like Wemby's playing, even with sprained ankles and
21.
stuff. I know, but still, like through tiny injuries, he's still playing through. So I just respect him for that.
And moving same side of the thing.
Yeah.
Popovich out for the year, still recovering from his stroke.
That's really sad.
It's
and it's probably time to hang it up.
Yeah, is it done or is
it's
Pop
over.
done?
It's over.
I guess that's kind of where I'm going with that point. Is his situation over with?
Not only because a stroke is such a big deal in itself, but Pop is 76, man. Like, I mean, I'm sure like coaching the greatest NBA prospect ever is like a lot of fun, and you want to see what you can get out of that. But I mean, where down the line do you really see a championship? Yeah. And I know Greg Popovich, he's coaching, 1, to win a championship, but 2, because for his just love of the game. That's the only way you continue doing this for as long as he's been doing it. But I just think some things are more important than what we do for a living. And, that's your livelihood in itself. So nothing should come before that. He's one of the greatest, if not the greatest, to ever do it. 5 rings, one of the greatest basketball dynasties ever.
Not only that, Team USA, man.
Yeah, Team USA, like
all of it. Like it's just when another reason why I brought it up is because it's just so bad. It's sad for the game because he's just such a great. He's on the Rushmore in my opinion for the NBA. I'd put him in
coaching?
Just like NBA what's the word? Like
pioneers.
Yeah, just like character, like key people of the NBA, players, coaches, general managers, whatever it is, like organizations, whatever. He would be on the Rushmore of just greatness when it comes to the National Basketball Association. But moving on, what does this do for capturing the flag? Are they going to get Cooper Flag, and is this going to just ruin the NBA?
I don't think they'll get Cooper Flag.
Yeah, no way.
I was kind of just being facetious about it earlier. I think it's just a really wild long shot. And you know how fans are. They say a lot of crazy stuff on social media. I think Cooper Flag is going to be on a much worse team than the San Antonio Spurs, and not only that, like
he's
Cooper
a wizard,
Flag,
man. He's a wizard.
He's saying he thinking about staying an extra year. I don't know how much I believe that, but
he's a wizard. Yeah, no. Like it's going to be one of those bottom teams. It's either going to be because I don't know how the picks draw out. Like I think like San Antonio gets Atlanta's pick if something happens or something. Like it's but for that to happen, San Antonio would have to completely tank, and I don't think that's going to happen because like they have decent players outside of Wemby. So, and kind of like the same thing with the Pels. I think it's out of the reach for the Pels.
Yeah.
The Pels have been kind of winning, which is like
scary.
Chill out.
But moving on from the tanking, let's move to the winning side. According to Phil Jackson's 40-20 rule, where if you get to 40 wins before 20 losses, you're an elite championship contender. only one team has not completed that, and only one team who has won the championship that hasn't completed it was the Bucks, and that was in that shortened season with
Right.
less games because of COVID. So the only 3 teams in that are the Cavs, the Celtics, and the Oklahoma City Thunder. With that being said, who's your early pick to kind of win it all? And give me your thoughts on why.
Oh, to win it, I honestly think the Celtics can go back to back. Man, and they haven't really like put it in full gear yet either.
No,
like,
they're not
I've
even
watched a
trying.
lot of their games, and they only really kick it into full gear if they're playing another
Good team.
high caliber team. If they're playing the Cavs or the Bucks,
Right.
or their rival in the Sixers. But other than that, they just coasting. They're just trying to get another win. Derek White is gonna bail them out like he always does. But things are gonna click in the playoffs.
Right.
Everybody's healthy, and that's the biggest thing to me. Like they somehow figured out how to keep Kristaps Porzingis healthy for an
Yeah.
extended period of time, and we saw what they did to Dallas. I mean, it literally just was nothing you can do. Like the shooting that this team had, like they have so many shooters. They got size,
Hauser.
they can defend. They got
Yes.
wing defenders. They got interior defenders, shot blockers. I mean, and they have stars. They have stars, and you got to have stars to win it. I'm sorry, bro. So, taking all those things into account, I think the Boston Celtics will be your 2025 NBA champion, and they're gonna go back to back.
Do you have a sleeper pick that maybe
sleeper?
could surprise?
I'm gonna go with the Lakers, just because I think making a trade like that, like all bias aside, like that puts you in the running. Like
Yeah.
that makes things a hell of a lot more interesting than what they once were. Like it's a reason social media was losing their minds.
Losing their
over-
minds.
Yeah.
What about
They
you,
finally
Dre?
got over that. My bad.
No,
they
that's-
finally got over that hump and beating Denver.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think
and that game they looked amazing. By
Yes.
the way, they looked amazing
Yeah.
and they looked complete.
Yeah. So I think especially if they get themselves in a favorable seeding position, I think they're two games out of the 2 seed right now. So they could definitely find themselves in the finals. And
Right.
maybe for a Lakers Celtics matchup, who knows?
I have the Celtics too, winning it all. I mean, it's kind of like the Chiefs thing. It's like, show me until you don't win.
I mean, they only won one.
Yeah, but here's the thing: they're gonna blow their competition out in the East, like usual.
Yeah, and now that I think about it,
like let's be
I don't
real.
even
The
know who's in
East
the
is so
East.
trash compared to the West.
The
So,
Knicks are good, but like,
the Knicks are good, but
Yeah, they're
they'll
good,
never be
but-
great. So,
yeah,
because Tom Thibodeau's there,
and the Cavs are good.
Cavs are good.
yeah.
But
every
won't
time
Won't be
they play
great.
the
They don't have a
Celtics, they
center,
just-
man. They don't have a
Yeah,
center.
but they're just not. They're good. The Cavs are like where the Thunder were last year,
I agree.
in my opinion.
Sleeper, I'll give you Houston Rockets.
Okay, I like that
They're
pick.
young. They're fun. They're the way funner Thunder, in my opinion. They're like what the Thunder were last year. I'll say that.
Well,
Like they're young with Thompson and
I don't know about that, but
come on.
I mean
man.
that's your assessment.
that's
like
it's,
you're not
it's,
wrong.
It's a
but-
sleeper pick.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is a long shot. I'm trying to
so
be fun here.
This is my way too early, and this could also be my sleeper, I suppose. But I got the Lakers, man. I think the Lakers are going to be your NBA
We're shaking
champions.
his head.
Dude. I from what I have seen, and here's what here.
Willis.
Y'all, and I knew this was gonna. I
No,
knew
you're
this
not
was
crazy.
gonna get some reaction.
You're not-
No
you're not
center.
crazy.
No center, man.
I'm telling you, all I know is I saw way too many Jackson Hayes lobs, and I'm convinced they can do it without one. I'm telling you, Jackson, they're gonna be fine. I really think they're gonna be. Go ahead, big dog.
I cannot believe that we're talking about Jackson Hayes in the big.
No, it's not Jackson Hayes. It's the spacing.
Yeah, that's
like,
what I'm.
that's what it is.
It's there's so much. There's so much that you have to worry about. So much that you got to deal with, and then you just got Luka throwing lobs.
Well,
Yeah.
And I get what you're saying about the spacing, but they have no bench. They have no bench, and I understand when you get into the finals, you get into the playoffs, you're playing, 7-man rotations, maybe 8 max, but like.
See, that's-
I don't see the Lakers. I see the Lakers getting to the conference finals. I don't see them winning a finals.
Well, if they get to the conference finals, they can get to the finals, and then from there,
That's
it's
what
a
I agree
coin
with.
flip. At
I
my
agree with
point,
that.
But I think with the way that I saw JJ Redick like stagger Bron and Luka's minutes, like when Bron comes out, Luka comes in, and vice versa. I think as long as if you can find a way to keep up with that right there, and then late game situations, you're gonna throw both of them out there. I think you just fine. I think that bench situation is gonna take care of itself. You got Austin Reeves who's playing himself into a third role. Rui Hachimura when he decides to play good basketball. Dorian Finney-Smith who they went and traded for. So I think like they just like they have the firepower. Like, and not only that, like you can tell when players truly believe that they have a shot at winning.
Right.
Like they got a different juice to them, if that makes sense.
All right. Trey, you want to?
I got nothing else.
Oh, no, I know. You want to get us
yeah.
moving on to the next
Yeah.
segment?
Yeah, sure. It's that time. So get pumped up, baby.
Let's go.
It's time for our weekly segments. We got Champagne's Poppin' Parlays, Jay's Calm Little Hot Takes, and Poji's Let Me Cook. So we're gonna start off with my segment, I believe.
Go ahead, man.
Just want to say we do not promote sports gambling. This is just kind of a fun way that we can give our picks of the week. But if you do bet, please do so responsibly. And we're also not promoting any certain sports books. They do that enough for themselves. But for my segment, I pick a parlay a week. And so this week's is actually soccer based because Vegas hates to put their odds out
And we're both
early in the week.
0-1, by the way.
We're both 0-1, but it's okay,
It's
guys.
our new
it's
week.
okay.
New week.
And I already have Will not liking this pick, but I'm going to go. I actually have 4 picks on this parlay. I have Man City money line over Tottenham. I have Arsenal money line against Nottingham Forest.
Come on, you Gunners. Come on.
I have Man United against Ipswich, which I'm pretty sure is a cup game. Man United in like Mickey Mouse Cup games are like 2 free. And then I have AC Milan as the underdog against Bologna. So that's what I have right now.
Well, what are the odds? What you got the odds at?
Oh, this is the crazy part. The odds stack up to plus 1,383. I'll have that pick up when we do it, but it's pretty up there. So
All right. Well,
it's time for Jay's Calm Little Hot Takes.
Is that me? No, I'm just playing. All right, so
yeah, what we got?
I got a calm little hot take. I've been kind of looking at all the chaos that's happening in Phoenix with the Suns. It seems like they just can't buy a game, man. And all of this, I think, circles back to Kevin Durant. Like, when I see the situation, I just think of Kevin Durant, and it really saddens me because I think purely talent, I think Kevin Durant is one of the top 3 to 5 just best basketball players I've ever seen with my ever seen. Like just
on
not
two
just
eyes.
period.
It's not ridiculous.
Like, ever
No,
seen
at
like
all.
I think if you just laced him up, like, you know, he's a safe bet for anybody. But I think with the disaster that Phoenix has turned into and is just gonna spiral into and just gonna blow up in everybody's face, I think Kevin Durant will not be remembered as an all-time great.
Because of Phoenix?
Not because of Phoenix, but now there is a pattern with Kevin Durant. You win and go
switching
and
teams,
switching
yeah.
teams,
His
and
legacy,
not even just
yeah.
that, but now it's like, oh well, you can't do it without Steph. Like,
Yep.
and he's an all-time great in my eyes, but I think it's going to be very easy for people to start trying to group him in that, I don't know, that Tracy McGrady talk or that, I don't know. Maybe not
agree.
I don't think all-time great is the right term, but I think that upper echelon where people like the top 10 talks and things like that, I think that's going to be a done deal, bro.
All right, Poach.
That is a hot take. I will tell you.
that's a hot take.
That's a hot take.
Yeah, man.
I feel like ball knowers are going to be able to.
Yeah,
for
because,
sure,
like,
but like all-time great Kevin Durant, not one of them.
I think he will be, but I just think amongst
His legacy is
a
going to be
lot
tarnished.
of basketball fans, like I don't think he'll be remembered as favorably as I would like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Poggi, it's time for your segment.
It's time to let me cook. It's time to let me cook. So here's what I got for you. I'm 0-1. I went USA money line in the nation's final against Canada. Did not hit. Connor McDavid wide open in the slot. Okay. So now I'm switching back to basketball. We got Alabama hosting Mississippi State
Ooh, okay.
tomorrow. Basketball. Well, Tuesday. So what I've got is taking their spread at -8.5. Alabama. I think it's going to be one of those games where they really want to show the committee, the world, that they're here to play on their home court. Cover the spread. I'll never say
Beautiful.
those two words, but I got Alabama.
Beautiful. Well, that's it, right?
That's it, man.
it.
So thank you so much for joining us here on the Hodges Huddle. Andre Champagne, thank you so much.
Of course, man.
Sports director Jaden, thank you. Big
Will,
Will, appreciate you over there
Back in the cut over there.
in the cut.
yeah.
Well, I'm your host, Michael Poggi, and this has been the Hodges Huddle.